Stop dating losers and then convincing yourself that you the problem when it don't work out. Get in here. I was just doing, I did a quick video for y'all earlier about this subject, but I had to get off of that, a coaching client. Now that I got my baby together, I need to talk to the rest of my babies right now, okay? Let me tell you this right now, okay? When y'all date these losers, you throw off the whole ethos when it comes to masculine and feminine energy, okay? We're going to go deeper into this right now because y'all messing it up for everybody else. You date these men who are losers. Men who literally only a mother could love, and she barely loves him. She just tolerates him because that's her child. You see what I'm saying? He emotionally unavailable. Yeah, that make him a loser, honey. He grown, okay? It's one thing if he, 15, 16 years old and emotionally unavailable. But he young. You got to put the babies in therapy. That's why I tell these mothers, put your babies in therapy. But this man in his 30s, 40s, 50s, and he's still pulling this mess, girl, he's a loser because he's choosing not to be better. I'm going to call it like I see it. You see where I'm going with that? This man is underperforming professionally. I'm not saying that he got to go out here and become the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, but my God, today, can he at least operate at his full potential and not be a man who's going to become a financial burden for you? But honey, you make excuses for him. Well, he working on himself. You know, he got his mixtape coming out. Baby! He too old for that. And he ain't got the talent either. Well, you know, he is a good man, but you know, sometimes he just is slow calling me back because he's very busy and so on and so forth. Girl, how does man work barely a 9 to 5? Okay, he ain't running no companies or countries, but he can't call you back within several hours. Meanwhile, you got kids, a household, your whole life, a business, whatever it is you do, but you can text people back quickly. How that work? He's a loser. Because he doesn't even value you enough to tell you, hey, baby, I'm just not that kind of man. I'm not into you at that level to be calling you back that quickly. I just want something casual. He's wasting your time. But then you give this man the best of yourself, believing that somehow or another, if you give him the best of yourself, that you'll convince him that you're worth being desired. That's what it comes down to for many of you all. It's not that you really want him. It's that you don't want to be rejected by him. It's not that you really want him. It's that as the clock is ticking and you're getting older and older, you're becoming more and more fearful. What if I don't meet that man? What if it's too late for me? What if? And so what you're doing is you're not choosing him. You're choosing to settle with the one that's in front of you because you're afraid that what you truly desire and deserve won't come because it hasn't come yet. Yeah. That's the problem. And it throws off the ethos because every single time that a good woman gives a loser her attention, you make him believe that he's deserving of women like you. And then after it ends with you, because it's going to inevitably end with you, you ain't going to be able to work forever, right? Then he goes out into the world and starts acting like he's all that. Starts acting like he deserves the best. He gets off this energy like that. And then next thing you know, the next woman thinks, okay, well, let me try him too. You see what I'm saying? I think that when it comes to these men, this is why I tell you. Okay, let me show you what I mean. Let me show you what I mean, okay? I bought some jars the other day. This is that man's ego, okay? But that man ain't worth nothing. You see what I'm saying? Well, look at the other side, because I already took the jars out. That man ain't worth nothing, all right? When you come across a man who ain't worth nothing, but he got an ego, you see what I'm saying with that? When you come across a man where when you look at who you are and you match him up against you, he could not stack up on his best day. When you come across a man who tries to humble you or just doesn't respect you or value you, this is what you got to do to his ego. I ain't really spit, but you get the point. Hold on, let me get my hair back together. Hold on. go. You better humble him down to where he's supposed to be, so he don't take that mess to another woman and mess her over like he messing you over. Let me tell you something right quick. You hear me? Stop dating losers. There are certain men out here, baby. Favor ain't fair. And the anointing ain't on everybody. There are some men out here who literally, if it wasn't for their height or their good looks, no one would want them. There's some men out here where even with their height, their good looks, or their money, once people get close enough to learn more about them, don't nobody want to be with them. There are men out here who are literally horrible, and you sitting up here crying over him. I know that I've had to give him multiple chances, and I know he's not very responsive sometimes, and I know that when we're out and about, sometimes I catch him staring at other women. I know that I really don't trust him that much. I know that I really am not certain that he really wants me like that. So you know all of that, and why are you still there? Girl, let me share something with you. Most men are not smart enough to hide who they are for an extended period of time. They show who they are very quickly. Very quickly. It's not about intelligence. It's about ego. They don't feel like they have to hide it. Because you know, there's always some woman out there or some man out there who's going to tolerate it. So they really don't hide who they are very much. So if you're dealing with a man and he treating you poorly, or not treating you at the level you deserve to be treated, it's not because you don't see it. It's because you're choosing to ignore it. If you're going to deal with a loser, it's not because he manipulated you. Get that narrative out the way. That's not it. You need to start picking men out where literally, if he wasn't your man, would you want to be his friend? Y'all date men who you would not want to be his friend because he doesn't have the character traits. Don't we hold our friends to a certain standard? Don't we hold our friends to a certain standard? Honey, all my girls are bad. And when I say bad, I'm not just talking about the way they look, honey. They got their act together. Professionally, they're doing the best they can. You know what I'm saying? They got their act together. They take care of themselves. They got their act together. Because if you my good home girl, okay? If you my good Judy girl, you got to have yourself together mentally as well, because I need you to be able, if I need to call you up at 12 o'clock in the night, tell my girl, I need to talk about something, and you available. You see what I'm saying? I need you to be able to have insight for me at a level that I would have for you. So any man you deal with, he got to be at the same level of value as your girlfriends. I'm not saying he needs to be your girlfriend. I'm saying he needs to be at the same level of value. He needs to be able to operate that level because we hold our girls to a certain standard. Why is it that we have girlfriends who operate this level, but we accept men at this level? Why is it? That don't make no sense. You're going to be spending more time with him than you might be spending with her once y'all get together and really be together for real, for real. No, you got to hold him to the same standards as your girls. If he's not, if who he is as a man, if he were a woman, if you wouldn't want to be friends with him, don't date him. Don't date him. Don't date him. It's not even about him being equally yoked with you on paper, because the reality is that some of y'all are really excelling professionally and in other ways where it would take a really exceptional man to be able to earn at your level. You earning $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year. A lot of y'all are like that. I know it because I have the insurance business. So I be seeing the paperwork for when people doing their policies. I can see all salaries and stuff like that. You a realtor earning $500,000 a year. You own a daycare earning this. You the head of HR. You a general manager for this, that, and the other. I know y'all be making good money. And I'm not saying you can only be with a man who makes the same kind of money. You may find a really incredible man, but even him being his best self professionally, he just doesn't earn at your level. That's why it's not about money. It's about mindset. It's about value. I don't care if that man work at the Burger King making the drinks for people. Actually, I do care. I think nothing against the Burger King, but baby, you hear where I'm going. Okay, but let me use my example here. If that man doesn't value you, no. I don't care if that man's the CEO of a Fortune 100 company. If that man doesn't value you, he better be paying some good bills for you. All right, we can excuse some things, can't we? I'm just joking. You can buy my compliance. I'm just joking. Kind of not. Okay, I'm just saying. He's rich, but he takes good care of me. Kidding. Not kidding. But no, for real. You need to be with a man who values you, who respects you. And that's why I harp so much on how quickly does he text you back. Oh, it's not all about text messages. Some people aren't phone people. Shut up. Unless you're dating a man over the age of 80. Okay? Then that don't apply. Because my mother, she just turned 70 the other day. I guarantee you this. If I call that woman right now, she going to answer that phone. I guarantee you this. If I text her right now, she going to text me back in a reasonable amount of time, unless she's playing cards. Even if she is playing cards, she still may text back pretty quickly. My father, he's horrible at the phone. But if I text him, he's going to text back in a reasonable amount of time. Now, the text message may be very short. Right what I'm saying? If I call him, he's going, hello. You know what I'm saying? I tell you that right now. All right? I got friends who are the heads of companies. If I send them a voice note right now saying, hey, what you doing this weekend? What you trying to do? Yeah, let me hit you back a little bit later, but I'm thinking, let's go to a samba. I'll hit you back later, though. You can tell a lot about how a person views, values, and respects you by how they respond to your communications. You can tell a lot about them by how they view, value, and respect you by how quickly they respond to your communications. If a man knows that you are into him and he's always leaving you hanging or leaving you on red, he's a loser. He's a loser. Because if he were a real man, he wouldn't be wasting your time. He would tell you, hey, baby, let me share this with you. I'm really just not into you at that level. Or he maybe even lie to you a little bit, kind of softer. I'm just looking for something different than what you're looking for, so that's why I'm not as available. He tell you that. If a man can sit up here and take so much of your time and your energy but never offer you a commitment, a move towards, he's just comfortable with wasting your time, well, he's a loser. He's a loser. Why? Because that's the cruelest thing on earth, to waste somebody's time. Time is the one resource that we can never get back, and he's wasting your most valuable resource. He's a loser. He lacks compassion also. Dangerous for you emotionally. Because if he can waste your time, then what other areas can he waste in your life? If this man can experience you being emotionally open and available, and yet he has nothing for you in the hardest of moments, all you got is a okay, half-hearted responses, or when you try to hold him accountable, you bring up your feelings, he's constantly deflecting, trying to put it back on you. He can't accept responsibility. He can't show up in a real way emotionally. Loser. He's a loser. He's a loser. He's a loser. I don't care about, oh, well, you know, he went through a lot with his mama, because when he was a child, his mama lived on Skid Row, and she really didn't know how to treat him. Good girl, who cares? Who didn't go through something? I'm not saying who cared about what happened to his mama, but what I'm saying is that ain't your problem. He big and grown. You telling me that he don't know how to flip his health insurance card over and ask him how to find a therapist? You telling me that he done broke all these women's hearts and traumatized all these people, and he never had one thought one time, maybe I should go to therapy. Maybe I'm the problem. So he's choosing to be this way. It's not his mama's fault. She may have got the ball rolling, but he certainly didn't stop it from rolling. He's a loser. And don't get me started on a man who's comfortable with taking your money. Baby, if a man cracks his lips to ask you for money, that's an immediate block. That's an immediate block. I remember one time I talked about that, and this man came in here, no, that ain't right, because if a woman asks us for money, then we ain't like that. Okay, buddy. Man up. Man up. Because with my full face of makeup and my old glamorous hairdo, I'm feeling more man than you at this moment. My God. My girls have more shimmer on them than a goddamn Goodyear balloon. You see what I'm saying? And I'm feeling more masculine than you. If a man ever asks you for money, he's a loser. Unless it's your man you've been married to, you deep in a relationship with, and something done came up, okay, I get it. Y'all work it out. Because y'all married. At that point, once you're married, y'all handle things the way you handle them. What I'm telling you is this. Stop giving your time to losers and learn how to label a man a loser when he is one. Stop undervaluing yourself. Y'all undervalue yourself so quickly. You think because you're not perfect that you ain't really that girl. Okay, girl, who is perfect? Okay, your back a little big. Whose back ain't big? Come on now. Okay, you went through this and you gone through that. You got this trauma. Okay, girl, who hasn't? But you still got through it and you still pushing forward. You are that girl. And you know that whoever's in your life is going to be blessed because of how you treat them. You know you that girl. You know everything you bring to the table. If he can't match you and can't value you, then girl, he's a loser. Accept it. Accept it. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You see what I'm saying? You protect yourself when you can accept the truth about who people are and most importantly, who they not. Now I'm going to tell you another thing. Y'all need to learn to feel more comfortable with being single while you are dating, looking for someone who's a good fit for you. I'm not one of these girls who going to tell you that BS. I can't stand when people say this, okay? Just stay single and trust it's going to work out. And one day he's just going to appear when you're not looking for him. If you don't shut up. Okay? If you don't shut up. It's always the woman saying that who been married for 50, 11 years who never had the date because she married the first man that she was ever with. Baby, you can talk to us about how to keep a man, but you certainly can't talk to us about how to find one, okay? Because, baby, you never looked. You settled for who was in front of you. All right? It is what it is. He just wait up. No. Still be intentional about putting yourself out there. Still be intentional about making sure that you are aesthetically aligned to get the things you want. Still be intentional about that, for sure. But what I'm saying is this. Stop dating placeholder men. Because a lot of times the placeholder men are losers. That's the reason why he's not a real contender. It's because he's a loser in some way. You know it. It's just he's got a couple of redeeming traits that you can focus on so you can ignore the ones that are just absolutely horrible. Horrible. That's what we say. Horrible in Portuguese. Horrible. Right? You focus on the good traits. Girl, if that man does not have sufficient enough good traits for him to be a good potential partner, then don't date him. Do not date him. Be okay with being single or not dating until you meet someone who's worth dating. And just because you meet someone who's worth dating does not mean that's going to be your guy forever. But at the very least, is he worth the time? I gave this analogy recently. I was talking about an audition. Let's say that you're auditioning people, right? As you all know, I have a production company. When we're auditioning people for different things like that, right? You may say we want to audition people for this one role. We want to audition men for this one role. When you're talking to whoever's handling casting, meaning the people who go find the actors, find whoever it is, they're not just going to send anybody off the street because they don't want to waste our time. What they're going to say is, what's the criteria of what you're looking for? Well, it needs to be this, it needs to be that, it needs to be the other, blah, 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 blah. And then therefore, even for the people who we're auditioning, and we're certainly not going to pick everyone we audition, we're only going to choose one person. But of those 15 people we're auditioning, they all still have to meet a certain standard to even enter the room to be reviewed. Right? They have to meet a certain standard before they can enter the room to be reviewed. What is your standard? Some of y'all don't even know. And that's why you keep on being attracted to losers. Because you have nothing to evaluate your standards against. I need you to write out. What is the criteria that a man has to meet to be able to date you? Not to marry you, but to date you. Because to marry is a higher standard. But to even go on a date, to get your phone number, what criteria does he need to be able to meet? Write that criteria out. I'm going to tell you this right now. It should be at least 5 traits. At least 5 traits. No more than 5. No more than 5. Because I don't want you to have such a long list that you end up basically pricing yourself out of the dating market. What 5 traits? Does he need to be gainfully employed? I think that's important. Gainfully employed or independently wealthy. He needs to have his own resources. I think that's a given. Does he need to be someone who respects time and timeliness? Meaning that if you all plan to go out, he keeps the date. He doesn't cancel in the last minute or ghost you. He responds to text messages and things of that nature. Single should be one of them. We're not taking these sloppy seconds. What's your criteria? And my thing is this, once you've had that criteria, then what I think you need to do is be open to dating different people. Date. You got to do that. It's very important that you be open to dating people who meet that criteria. But until you meet people who meet that criteria, it's also important that you not date at all. Don't date. Just be cool. Find other things to do with your Friday night. That's cool. It's fine. Because here's my problem. When you end up dealing these placeholder men, psychologically, what we focus on expands. Right? Psychologically, what we focus on expands. Right? And so what ends up happening is that when you deal with somebody who doesn't meet that criteria, and you're kind of settling for them in the meantime while you wait on what you really want, indirectly you start telling your mind, this is what you deserve. Because that's what you're giving attention to. Or worse yet, you start to like them. How many of us have experienced falling in love or falling in a deep like with a man who should have never got our phone number? We've all done it. Every human being has done it. How did that happen? Because we either didn't have our criteria or we ignored our criteria just so we could be with someone in that moment. And then what happens is, like on Your Magic just said, she says, they take up space and take up your energy. They end up taking up your energy that you could be putting into yourself or putting into being intentional about meeting someone who meets your criteria. Now this person's got it. Got your attention. And then what ends up happening? When this relationship ultimately doesn't work out, because you know it's not going to work. You know it's not going to work, right? 3 months later, 6 months later, a year later, these things can last. Now you're heartbroken because this person's gotten close enough to you to be able to have an effect on you. And now you're heartbroken, and now you got to take more time to heal before you can get back out there to actually find someone who meets your criteria. So what you end up doing is you end up prolonging the amount of time that it would have taken you otherwise to find what you want. The quickest way to find the kind of man that you want is to only date the type of men who meet your criteria. The quickest way to find the kind of men that you want is to only date the kind of men that meet your criteria. Does that mean that the pool will be smaller? Yes. Does that mean that you may have time periods of not dating at all? Yes. But what it also means is that when you do meet someone who meets your criteria, you are ready and available. You are mentally ready. You are not healing from the last one that wasted your time. You are ready and available, and therefore you can invest in that person. Stop dating losers just to fill your time. Stop dating losers just because they give you attention. Stop dating losers thinking that you can change them into a winner. Stop dating losers. Create a criteria for what you want, need, and deserve in a partner. And if someone doesn't meet that criteria, then do not give them your time. And once you realize they don't meet your criteria, stop communicating with them. Become instantly busy. I'm just so busy with work. That's why I haven't responded to your text message in 7 days. Or be direct with them. Hey, I just don't think this is for me. But it's really nice getting to know you. That is the quickest way to get what you want. Is to only give your time to people who are what you want. If this message helps you, go ahead and click like and click share. And if you want to get a copy of my book, best-selling book, is called Get Out of Your Own Way, A Guide to Letting Go of Things Holding You Back. It's available in audio, digital, and print version. So you can get the hardcover book. It's always out of my reach. It's over there. But you can order that wherever books are sold. And of course, if you want to schedule a one-on-one coaching session with me, it's a video call, completely confidential. You can use the link that's directly above or below this video, or the link that's on my social media pages to schedule your session. I only have a couple of slots a week, but you can schedule your session there before they run out for the next week. All right, y'all. Stop dating losers. You deserve more.